Hello and good evening, YouTube. WILDMAN here. Now, on today's episode, you probably don't know this because of movie magic from the last video, but I've been really sick. I've actually been sick for about a week. And as a result, I don't know what kind of flu this was, but it definitely swallowed all the steroids and was a super flu. And it really affected my lower back and my hips and my muscles and my joints. Everything was very inflamed. There was even at one point I couldn't even get out of my bed because when your lower back, is injured, it hurts to lay down, it hurts to sit up, it hurts to breathe, it hurts not to breathe. Pretty much that's the worst injury you could ever have, is a lower back injury. And for some reason, this flu decided to attack those major parts and I was out of commission. So as a result, I haven't been able to work out in a while, which I was excited for because I had some time off work and I really wanted to do a lot of content. However, you got to start somewhere, right? So that's what we're doing tonight. Tonight's going to be the log clean and press, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, how many sets, how many reps, I don't really know. The idea is just to get back out here and to start again. So let's pop into tonight's workout and I'll explain to you some of the techniques and some of the tricks I like to use when I'm sick to get back into the gym and to keep my gains. So on today's giant set, I'm doing the log clean and press. I'm basically going to pick it up from off that tire. I'm going to clean it to my shoulders and I'm going to press it overhead. I'm going to start with reps, but eventually I'm going to have to bring them down to singles just to see how I feel. And in between that, I'm going to be doing some kettlebell snatches. This is a great exercise to work your oblique, your shoulder mobility, and warm up the explosiveness. So that way as the log gets heavier, I'll be able to be ready for it. And I'm going to be doing a 100-meter shuttle run in between as well. Because mainly, that was the only thing I felt good enough to do. Everything else that I could possibly do in giant set format, I just didn't feel like I was unable to do it or it wouldn't be productive. So that was going to be the giant set for the day. Now, since, like I said, I'm coming off from being sick, I want to give everybody some advice that I like to use when I'm coming back to the gym and when I'm sick. And mainly I've learned this from trial and error. So take it from me, don't do it the wrong way. And the first thing you're going to want to do, probably when you get back into the gym, is you're going to want to max out. You're going to want to pick up where you left off in your training program because you don't want to start all the way over. I mean, you've worked hard to get to your point. And you're going to probably want to maybe see with all the rest time you've had off, if you can actually PR. Now, with some people, especially with beginners, that might be the case because beginners are still recovering and developing muscle and continue to break those plateaus every time they go to the gym. So they might be able to get away with that. However, if you've been lifting for a longer period of time, you're going to run the risk of getting an injury if you just pop back in the gym and think that you're going to pick up right where you left off. You need to have the discipline in order to start over, or at least to have a feel out session where you can kind of see where you're at. But of course, it's not going to be a true gauge. So my tip that I'd like to give you is go in and do something that you know you can do just to kind of get everything back into a rhythm and a routine. Because once you get into the gym and you start getting back into your routine with just super lightweight, and you don't need to leave with a huge pump or anything like that, or break any world records. Believe it or not, this will actually help you the next time you go to the gym. Because the next time you go to the gym, your body will be primed and ready to get back into its routine. And you've been off for a long period of time. Your core, your back, and your muscles are actually in a very relaxed state. So you're gonna have to wake them up. And waking them up with maximal weight is not a very good idea. Another tip I'll give you is try to lift with implements or go up in weight that you typically don't go up in. So if you usually go up like in 10s in the gym, maybe go up by 5s. Or even try something a little heavier, such as if you go up by 10s, maybe try going up in 20s. The goal is just to try to trick your brain into doing something different. So that way your body has to really wake itself up and try to really figure out what's going on here. Trust me, that's a wizardry move that I tell a lot of people. A lot of people are like, huh? I don't really get it. Like, what's the difference? The difference is you're changing your routine and you're telling your brain to do something that it typically doesn't do. So it's gonna have to think a lot harder and therefore wake up. And the last tip that I'm gonna give you is do not press all the way on the accelerator. Just like what I'm doing here, I actually felt pretty good at 205 pounds. I probably could have gone up to 215, possibly even 225. But what's the point? The point of today was to get back in the gym and to wake everything up. It wasn't to set a new PR or to see how I'm going. So in this case, I didn't wear any equipment this time, and I just wanted to see where I was at. And those are my 3 tips if you want to come back to the gym after taking a lot of time off, or if you were sick for a long period of time. So I decided to leave 205 for 1 rep right there. I did that without any gear on, without a belt, nothing. And I can really feel how unstable my core is just from being on bed rest for about a week, and the back pain that I've been experiencing, just not a good combo. But let me ask you this: how many people do you know that can lift a 205-pound log and they're just calling it quits just to be safe? So the problem that I'm kind of facing right about now is it's very cold outside. So I need to start doing a different kind of a format for the variation giant set, so I'm able to get my blood pumping, so that way that I'm able to stay warm in this freezing temperature, because I'm trying to come out of this feeling better than how I started. So let's pop into the variation giant set and let's see what we can get done. Now for the variation giant set, if you've watched my channel long enough, you know that I do this a lot, especially on log clean and press day. This is the incline log bench press. And yes, it is easier than a bench press in my opinion. It looks intimidating and it looks hard, but I guarantee you if I was standing right there and coaching you through this, you'd be like, oh wow, this is actually a lot easier. So if you have a hard time incline bench pressing 225 pounds, believe it or not, if you were to get the log in the right position, you'd actually be able to press this pretty easily. This is why I don't like to focus on this movement. I like to do this as a secondary lift to the log clean and press, because I'm just trying to get used to being under the log for a longer period of time and overloading it. And I just kept everything in the same exact giant set format with the kettlebell snatches and with the running of the 100-meter shuttle run, just to keep everything nice and even. Now, I wasn't trying to go for optimal weight here. I was mainly just trying to keep myself warm and getting some extra time underneath the log and trying to get a nice pump now, because I was starting to get really cold. And when you're already cold, it's kind of a bad idea to remain in the cold, especially when you haven't been outside working out for a long period of time. There really isn't a secret or a trick to doing this movement either. All you have to do is just kind of get on the seat properly and make sure that you're stable, because it can roll either way. But this is a nice movement to do because you're able to start from the bottom of the press. So you have to get yourself into a position where it's kind of awkward to start at the bottom. Like starting at the top is a lot easier because you're able to eccentrically load the implement down and wind it up like a spring, and then you're able to kind of just pump it out. But in this case, you have to start from the bottom, and so that could throw your timing off and everything as you're lifting the rest of the movement. But if you get good at this, it's a very good exercise to do, and it definitely overloads your triceps and your chest, so in that lockout position. So this is just something that I like to throw in there, and it was a great variation exercise to do on this particular day just because I've been sick for so long, and it was a good way to just get back into the movement. And we're done. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I use a little movie magic, obviously, as I'm working through my workouts to show all of you. But there was a couple of times I had to stop to suck some wind, especially in the beginning, because I was absolutely dying. But by the time I had started all the way until now, I was staying warm. I began to move more efficiently, and I started to feel better. So that was the goal of today, and it was accomplished. So I was very happy with that. And it's freezing outside right now, so it's time to get inside and start to recover. I'll see you next time. Thank you.